In less than 2 hours, a Jacksonville teacher will be in court. Christopher Bacca is expected to be formally charged with sex crimes against a boy. He's 26 years old. He's facing 3 counts of sexual battery, 3 counts of lewd and lascivious battery on a child under age 12. Now, Bacca was the teacher of the year at Windy Hills Elementary School. A DCF investigation uncovered by Channel 4 revealed a complaint had been filed against Bacca 3 years before his arrest. And when parents send their children off to school, we assume it's safe. We want to be clear, Bacca is only accused of these crimes. Many people who have been convicted of similar ones abused someone who knew them and trusted them. So what do we do to keep our kids safe, to empower our children? Joining us with some insight is Angela Williams. She is founder of Voice Today, a nonprofit aimed at preventing child sex abuse. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Stacey.
Let's not just talk about this local man, of course. This goes on all over the place. Sandusky was such a huge eye-opener for a lot of people. You've been inundated with calls from people who say, come and talk to our group. What do you try to do with those parents and children?
Well, we have to be a vigilant society, and we have to be educated, and we need to learn how to predict and prevent child sexual abuse. So it's real important, especially when you look at this case. We are conditioned for stranger danger to be the risk, and it's not. 90% of the time, it's someone the child knows, loves, and trusts. And CDC reports that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before they're 18. So we have got to wake up. We have got to get educated. Not only educate ourselves as adults on how to protect children, but educate the children on how they can have a voice and they can protect their personal boundaries and their innocence.
At what age do we start talking to our children about this?
Very early. We encourage that you start as soon as the child is 8, maybe 18 months to 2 years old. Bath time is a wonderful time that you identify the anatomical names of their body parts. You tell them how special those body parts are and that they're very innocent, and their innocence is a special gift that needs to be protected, and that no one has the right to touch those private parts unless they have the permission of mommy and daddy. And then just have some conversations with the child about who might want to or need to touch their private parts, maybe to keep them clean, maybe at the doctor's office. So the child grows up knowing that no one is supposed to touch my private parts.
Well, so many of us feel squeamish about having these conversations. I guess if you start early. What about with older children? How do you coach them along?
It's layered conversations. So if you start young, then you can layer those conversations, and I think you transfer into a conversation about when there might be threatening times, what is appropriate behavior, what is not appropriate behavior. Threatening times is any time that a child is alone with an adult. We need to let them know that if anyone ever touches you uncomfortably, makes you feel uncomfortable, because sexual abuse does not start with the act. It starts with a grooming process.
Absolutely, which is what we learned through all of these cases.
So the perpetrator will test the child and see how vulnerable the child is, and maybe go a little further and a little further. So if a child has a clear definition of where their personal boundaries are, then they can understand when those are being crossed, and then this is the time that I may need to tell somebody. I need to maybe talk to mom or dad, or even identify someone in your life, because a child oftentimes doesn't want to tell you because they don't want to hurt you, they don't want to alarm you.
Sure.
So maybe find a friend or a family member that you trust that you can say, if you can't tell me something, then you can tell Aunt Jane, or you can tell someone else.
Give them an option to go to someone
Exactly.
else.
But just have a conversation, you know. Ask them, has anyone ever touched you uncomfortably? Is there someone that makes you feel uncomfortable? And in this situation, I think we assume because of someone's stature in the community, their job, their awards, their accolades, that makes them safe for a child. And we cannot assume that.
Angela, we've run out of time, but
yes,
you can pick this up on your website.
VoiceToday.org. There are our power protection points, and this is Tough Talk to Tender Hearts. We'd be happy to come to your community and train on how we can predict and prevent child sexual abuse.
VoiceToday.org.
O-R-G.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bruce, over to you.